Hello everyone and welcome to the second video of the day. This is going to be Family Xenomorph Deku, Part 1. Now we start off when she's 4 and she will look like this. Most clothing that she'll be able to put on are pants. She'll be friends with two certain people from Devil May Cry who have been gender bent for ship reasons. Yeah. We cut to Izuku, or Izumi in this case, going to the doctor's with her parents. She would go there because she's going to be Nina's cousin. Their mothers will be siblings. Inko had a very powerful acid quirk, and that will contribute to her acid blood, and, well, her father had a insectoid-like quirk that will make her into this. She will be the origin Xenomorph, the Queen Mother, if you will, if you know what that is. If you don't, go look it up. She would go to the doctors. She'd get her quirk checked, and it would be called simply Queen Mother. But that would be her final evolution, as the doctor would call it, because her quirk is an evolution-based quirk. And as of right now, she is in the drone stage. Her drone and warrior stage will look a lot like this, but her warrior stage will have more armor. But I can't seem to find a picture of that as of recent. But yeah, this is what she'll look like. Pink eyes and everything. Now, she does love her cousin, but she's not necessarily close with her. Like, they're okay with each other. They'll have each other's backs if they need to, but they don't really see each other much. But yeah, after that, she goes to the park where she meets gender-bent Dante and gender-bent Virgil. Also, shout out to Smelly Sloth, who gave me the idea for the ship, and along with the picture. Yeah. And yeah, she to go to the park, meet Dante and Virgil, and tell them both her quirk. And they'd be surprised and give her a big hug, as the armor and all that, and yeah, those do come out of her back, along with the tail. The tail was the most painful part. And yeah, she will look like this later on, but not yet. Now, she would just have a normal day. They wouldn't really know Bakugo yet. Actually, you know what? No, they would know Bakugo. But Bakugo would really be a friend. He was just there, so when he saw Izumi get her quirk, let's just say things did not go well. He threw an explosion at her, and it was at that moment that Dante's and Virgil's quirks would activate. Dante would pull a sword out of nowhere, and yeah, Virgil would pull a sword out of nowhere, and Dante would pull out two 50 Action Express Desert Eagles. Because I like 50 Action Express Desert Eagles. They're fucking fun. On top of that 50 cal. So, yeah. Virgil would pull out Yamato and... Fuck, I forgot the names of Dante's pistols, but I know one's Ivory. So, yeah, that happened. And Bakugo would run off, swearing revenge. Now, Bakugo will have a very profound effect on her life. And because she can't really wear shirts because of her quirk, and on top of that, whenever she would take off the shirt, it would get shredded because tail and back spines, I guess that's what those are. It's never really confirmed what they're called. They're just tubes, I guess. And I guess that they help with finding things and other stuff. Like electrical sensing, because they don't really have eyes usually, but I guess they're extrasensory organs. Anyway, this is where it gets dark. As soon as they all learn about sex ed, Bakugo has been constantly bullying Izumi at this point, when Dante and Virgil are the only two people that really help her. And all the other boys are committing the sin of lust to her, because she can't really wear a shirt. And pants are very hard to wear. So yeah, she usually goes to school in that. And all this. And her teachers know that. But her teachers do not give a damn about her because of her quirk. And her semi-dead look in her eyes. So yeah, they don't really give a rat's ass about her. Hell, she's been bullied in class, and they just didn't give a damn. Hell, even the principal didn't care. And because of her mother's acid quirk, she had acid for blood. And it would be as potent as it is for the actual Xenomorph. And she would be terrifying with her tail. And she could, like, have claws come out from her, like, fingers. And, yeah, no, she has, like, a couple extra fingers, I think. Because I know Xenomorphs do not have 5 fingers. They have, like, 6 or 7. Because they can climb on all the different surfaces, which she can as well. And she has had to use her quirk to escape from people. And the teachers and staff only call her out on quirk usage. She usually has her tail wrapped around her waist. And she's really good at hand-to-hand combat. By the time she's by the time of the end of middle school, she already looks like this. Bakugo is, well, 2 years younger than her. When, yeah, I forgot to mention that. She was 6 when he was 4, and he saw her with her quirk and proceeded to beat on her. Let's just say when he got to middle school, no, even before middle school, he'd S.A. her. Yeah, no. Her backstory is dark. Only people that really cared for her were Dante and Virgil. And Virgil was a tsundere, as he is in the games, and in the novels, and whatever the fuck. Yeah, no. And Dante is open to her about feelings towards her, and Virgil is just like, I don't like you, idiot. Yeah, no. Virgil is basically Jiro times 10. Yeah. But Dante knows that Virgil has feelings for her, and Virgil isn't really lusting for power as much as she is, like, wanting to care for Izumi and Dante because family and lover. And yeah, she looks like this when she hit 14. She was in a kind of cocoon thing for like the weekend, and she came out looking like that, and she was a bit feral for like a few minutes, and she was very defensive. And then she came to and calmed the fuck down. Yeah, no, I don't know if you noticed, but she is not going to be a hero in this. Her lethality is going to be yes. And only really spares Dante and Virgil. Now, her 14th birthday. Well, then she was 13. Bakugo kinda... Well, let's just say she lost all faith in men that day. And she was very, very, very negative towards men. Because a lot of boys ganged up on her and forced themselves on her, and it wasn't until like a couple hours later when Dante and Virgil were looking for her. And this was all during school hours, mind you. They were getting worried, so they went out to look for her, and they found her in a puddle of her own fluids and unknown fluids. Thankfully, she was not ovulating, and she did not get pregnant from that experience. But let's just say she was a lot more brutal to the people of her class, except for Dante and Virgil. There were some women that were a part of that whole thing, and Dante and Virgil just kind of picked her up and took her to a hospital, because the school on the direction of the school nurse. The teacher didn't give a damn. The teacher really hated people with like mutation and evolution type quirks because he could never really be a hero, and the people with those kinds of quirks in his class could, and they basically did. So he really hates people with mutation quirks and evolution type quirks. And by evolution type, I mean things like, okay, you can go from this power to this power if you do this. Or if you meet like a certain criteria, like, okay, you went from like 12 and now you're 13 and now you can do this much now instead of that much. And did I forget to mention that she's tall as fuck? Yeah, no, and she looks like this. She's in her Praetorian stage. She's like 13 feet tall. Though she can kind of make her form smaller, the shortest she can go, because she's in Praetorian stage, is 9 feet tall. And when she's not in the school, she is at her natural 13-foot height. Yeah, no, she's gonna be stupid tall when she's done evolving. Yeah, let's get back to the story. And and for her height, she's pretty heavy. Like, it took Dante, Virgil, and the school nurse, who was basically recovery girl levels of nice. And she had to help the two carry her to the ambulance and get her in there. And the two would just say, yeah, no, we're going with her, whether you like it or not. She is our friend. And when they said friend, they'd blush. No. Yeah, no, they'd get her to the hospital pretty damn quick. I mean, shit, if someone can pin down a 250-pound, 9-foot-tall wall of muscle that was Izumi, yeah, no, you gotta see if she's okay at the hospital, because the school nurse does not have the equipment to check her. So yeah, that would all happen. It would take everything Nina had to not go over to that school and melt it to the ground. The security people and the school nurses all really like Izumi, because she's nice. She helps the security people sometimes. She gets them snacks or like joint, like weed, or like some alcohol or something, or like a small amount of money that she gets from her part-time job that she works at, like a fast food chain. Sometimes she'll bring them food, like breakfast or like lunch. Yeah, no, she's really friendly with the security and the school nurses. and they like her. And the person that watches the security cameras saw this. They all kind of have each other's numbers. The security people are basically her older brothers and sisters, and the school nurses are basically her grandmas. So when they heard that happened, and the person that was on the security cams saw this, the guy that was on the security cameras called, damn near blew up Dante's and Virgil's phones saying, hey, go to this part of the school, Izumi is being raped, and get there fast. And they did. But she was knocked out and having non-consensual sex. She had lost all faith in the boys of that school. The security detail basically all but nearly got them expelled for what they had done to their precious little sister. But they didn't get expelled because they had good quirks. Keep in mind, this is the same middle school that she went to in canon. So yeah, no Mirio, no Tamaki, no Nejire, no none of the people from Class 3A. And Bakugo was the ringleader of all this. And that all happened. It was hell for her the rest of the year. And then, one day, one bad day, the bullying for her was worse than usual. One of the kids in the class is the son of a very corrupt pro-hero. And he told said corrupt pro-hero that this is the place where that damned villain lives. Because one of them had stalked her home when she was with Dante and Virgil. And after the whole incident, Dante and Virgil one of the security people always left the school with them. They were not to be left without an adult. And they did it free of charge, too. They did not want the Midori's to pay for them protecting their little girl. And Dante and Virgil would not accept any form of payment from Inko and Hisashi. They would not. They were just like, no, we're just doing what we want to for our friend. But it would be this day that it only had one good thing in it. Dante and Virgil would confess their love for Izumi. But that would be the last good thing that would happen for a while. Because it would be that day that Izumi would never be the same again. The corrupt hero that I talked about had broken into the Midoriya's home and was brutally deflowering Inko. She was covered in her own blood and a strange white fluid that Izumi knew all too well. And after the corrupt hero had finished with Inko, he pulled out a gun and shot her in the back of the head. Now, this hero had a resistance quirk, and all of Inko's efforts were in vain. Inko would die that day, but that would not be all the tragedy that would happen to her. She'd get shot middle of the chest. Bullet would go clean through, damn near breaking her spine. And he would leave. He would flee the scene faster than All Might could say, "I am here." Because Hizashi had pulled up. He left out the back door. Said Hero left out the back door and fled the scene faster than All Might could say, "I am here." And Hizashi saw the door open and half of Izumi's body outside of the door, laying flat out. He feared the worst. He went up to the door, basically full sprint, and he would see his wife dead with a bullet wound to the back of her head, covered in blood and semen, with the same size bullet hole in Izumi's chest. So he'd hurry his daughter, who's still alive, to the hospital. She'd be treated. The bullet that was inside went through her chest had dissolved by the acid, and her wound was stitched up. Her body would naturally heal what was lost nearly as fast as that, almost as fast as the Nomu regenerated. As the USJ Nomu regenerated. On their way home, the same villain would shoot Hizashi on the head when he was behind the wheel. Izumi would barely live through that. When Dante and Virgil had heard about that, they'd rushed over to the hospital. But by the time they got there, she had broken out and she was on the hunt. Anyone doing villainous acts, large or small, would be cut down. It didn't matter to her. The monster of Japan had been let loose, and there wasn't a damn thing anyone could do to stop her.